Anna woke up to a nightmare. Her breath was heavy, her vision blurred, and her neck ached from the cold metallic collar locked tightly around it. Her mouth was gagged, and panic rushed through her veins like fire. She clawed at the collar, desperate to break free, but it wouldn't move. Her heart pounded louder and louder until her trembling eyes landed on another woman across the room. Unlike Anna, this woman wasn't panicking. Calm. Fearless. Dangerous. She slowly removed a pin from her blouse, rubbed it against her hair, and pressed a leaf on her chest, aligning herself with the wind as though she knew exactly where she was. Anna realized she wasn't trapped with strangers. She was trapped with survivors. Moments later, they were pushed into an open field. Dozens of people stood there, all wearing the same metallic collars. Among them, a white-bearded man scanned the area with sharp, calculating eyes. At the center of the field sat a massive wooden crate, dark and mysterious. A man in a hat approached cautiously, gripping a rusty iron rod in his trembling hand. Suddenly, the white-bearded man tried to shout something, his muffled voice warning them to stay back, but the gag silenced him. Ignoring the warning, the man smashed the lock and pried the crate open. The lid creaked slowly and silence fell over the crowd. Everyone held their breath, bracing for the unknown. And then, a tiny Peppa Pig toy rolled out. Nervous laughter spread among the group. Relief washed over them like a fragile wave. But deep inside, they knew this wasn't over. As the man peered further inside, his face changed. Weapons. Dozens of them. Guns, knives, grenades, and survival gear. A silent chill spread among the survivors. Whoever brought them here wanted them armed. This wasn't an escape. This was a game. Anna spotted a small pouch taped under the crate's lid. Inside it, she found a key. Her hands trembled as she ran to Jack, a tall, cold-eyed man standing apart from the others. Without saying a word, Jack took the key, unlocked her collar, and handed her a pistol. Anna hesitated, gripping the weapon tightly. "I've never used this before," she whispered softly. Jack leaned closer, his voice deep and steady. "Then learn, or die." Before she could reply, gunfire erupted in the distance. The forest echoed with screams. Panic exploded instantly as people scattered into the darkness, running blindly to save themselves. Bullets tore through the air, branches snapped, and shadows danced under flashes of gunfire. Charlie, a wild-eyed survivor, roared like a beast as he charged forward, wielding 2 Gatling guns. A young girl stumbled and fell into a hidden trap, her terrified cries echoing through the chaos. Jack dove forward, pulling her out, but as he stepped back, his boot pressed against something hard beneath the dirt. A sudden explosion shook the ground violently, throwing smoke and debris into the air. Screams pierced the forest as bodies fell one by one. Blood stained the earth and the night became a battlefield of survival. Only 3 managed to survive: Anna, Jack, and Marco. Bruised, wounded, and exhausted, they stumbled through the darkness until they reached a deserted gas station. Its flickering neon lights buzzed faintly in the silence. Inside, an old couple stood behind the counter, pale and trembling. Marco rushed forward, breathless. "Please, help us," he begged. The old woman's lips quivered as she whispered softly, This is Arkansas." The words froze them in place. Arkansas? That was thousands of miles away from where they were yesterday. How had they gotten here? What was happening to them? Marco grabbed the dusty phone and called the police. To their surprise, the officers answered immediately and promised to track their location. For the first time, hope returned. Anna closed her eyes and exhaled slowly, relief washing over her trembling body, but then, the old woman smiled. It wasn't the smile of safety. It was cold. Sharp. Deadly. Without warning, the couple pulled on gas masks and hurled a toxic grenade into the room. A hissing sound filled the air as thick, poisonous gas spread rapidly. Anna coughed violently, her lungs burning as Marco collapsed to the floor, Jack falling beside him. The old man calmly reloaded his shotgun while the old woman raised a radio to her lips and whispered, "The hunt continues." The lights flickered one last time before the gas station sank into complete darkness. Anna's vision blurred, her body growing cold, and in that final fading moment, the horrifying truth struck her: there were no heroes here, no way out, no salvation. In this deadly game, there are only two kinds of people, the hunters, and the hunted. Dark clouds gathered over the horizon as tension filled the air. Inside a small, dusty gas station, an old woman pretended to be a friendly cashier, but behind her calm smile lay hidden danger. Suddenly, Bajie walked in calm, confident, and unshaken. He casually asked for a pack of cigarettes, pulled a $100 bill from his sock, and placed it on the counter. The old woman smiled and reached for change, but Bajie's sharp eyes instantly noticed something unusual. She had given him too much change, and that mistake told him everything he needed to know. Bajie opened the cigarette pack and found it completely empty. His suspicion grew stronger, and when he stepped into the storage room, his fears were confirmed. 3 dead bodies were hidden inside. This was no ordinary gas station, this was a hunting ground. Without hesitation, Bajie grabbed a weapon, removed his coat, and prepared for battle. As he walked outside, he spotted a pickup truck parked nearby. Ripping off the license plate, he discovered where he was, but just as he prepared to escape, his instincts told him something wasn't right. He crouched low, observing every detail around him carefully. Suddenly, a drone buzzed overhead, scanning the area. Bajie hid behind a pillar, carefully analyzing his surroundings, but before the drone could strike, a loud gunshot echoed through the air. Blackbeard had arrived just in time. The two locked eyes, instantly understanding they needed to move. Together, they decided to escape on foot, following the abandoned train tracks into the unknown. Then, in the distance, they heard the low rumble of a train approaching. Without wasting a second, Bajie leapt onto the moving train with incredible speed, pulling the heavy Blackbeard up behind him. But inside the carriage, another problem awaited. A group of strangers stood before them, speaking in a language neither of them understood. Blackbeard's instincts screamed danger. Were these refugees? Or hunters in disguise? The tension was unbearable as Blackbeard raised his weapon and gave them 3 seconds to speak the truth. Before anyone could respond, the train screeched to a sudden halt. Armed border guards and police dogs surrounded them instantly. Bajie tried explaining the situation, but the soldiers didn't understand a word and forced everyone into a nearby refugee camp. Inside the camp, Bajie pleaded with the commander to contact the U.S. Embassy. Finally, someone claiming to be from the embassy arrived. But something felt wrong. The man's behavior didn't match his words, and Bajie's instinct screamed louder than ever. She quietly gripped the steering wheel, took a deep breath, and without warning slammed the gas pedal. The car reversed violently, crushing the fake agent beneath its tires 5 times until he stopped moving. Inside the trunk, they discovered Blackbeard, barely conscious but still alive. Next to him, they found a folded map. It marked the secret location of the hunter's base. Blackbeard wanted to escape immediately, but Bajie refused. Her voice was cold and steady as she stared at the map. "They hunted us like animals.